I'm Don. It's late. I'm up. Hi. How are you, my friends? Welcome back once again to Night Owl Movie Talks commentary and analysis watch party. Tonight, you'll have to forgive me, a little bit of a stuffed up nose thing. The fall cold thing's going around, right? But we'll weather through this together. Pardon the pun. Tonight, we're going to be watching Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Super divisive movie. The people who love it, love it. The people who hate it, hate it. I'm going to be watching this tonight on AMC, the streaming channel. It's also one I have had multiple times on VHS and DVD, Blu-ray. It's always cheap and it's one of my faves, so it's one I've had a bunch of times. Saw this one in the cinema when I was a kid, one of the few people that did. Um, but it was on cable so much, so much. It was one whether I liked it or not, I kind of had to learn to like it. Like it was always on because it wasn't too horrific. Like there isn't a lot of blood and guts and stabbing and stuff. So it was always on in the afternoon too, like after school and junk. So I see friends are pouring into the chat. I'll say hello to some of them, and then we'll get started with this movie. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. It's on AMC Plus. My friend Stacy's here. Acres of Movies. Welcome. 2 more days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Exactly. Silver Shamrock. That's one of the haunting things about this. One of the things people remember is the catchy little jingle from the Halloween mask company, the Silver Shamrock. I was in the towns from the movie, and they felt they were hostile and too many trees and had bad phone signal. Looked like the land that time forgot. Interesting. Stacy always has the good movie info. When he gets the beer and walks down the street near Pasadena in a different region. Overall, this is a terrific movie, and I'd love to see a 1600 style origin of the Silver Shamrock, Cillian Murphy. That actually, look at you. You're the you good. That's onto something there. I would watch a prequel to this starring Cillian Murphy. I'm all for it. Happy Halloween, my guy. Graduation December 12th. I got this on DVD. Congratulations and happy Halloween to you too, my friend. Anthony Chabot is here. Welcome, Anthony. Russell Collier, evening down in chat. Welcome, Russell, my man, the coolest dude on YouTube. Welcome, buddy. Our friend Juno 2000. Welcome, Juno. Hey, down Halloween 3 kick-ass, much better than Halloween ends. Yeah, I'm a fan of Halloween 3. Like I say, people who like the Halloween movies, they like their Michael Myers. So this doesn't have Michael Myers, so they don't like it. But if you look at this as like a cool horror sci-fi movie about Halloween, not part of the Halloween franchise, this movie's awesome. I wish this channel had the juice to get a petition started to have this just called Season of the Witch. Like that's the only title this needs to be. The Halloween 3 messes people up. But yeah, welcome Juno. As usual, you always got good taste and strong opinions. I love it. Um, Hey, Sean's here. Hey, good evening. Joining in tonight. Nice to see you, buddy. What are you? Are you pro or con on this one? Halloween 3 used to hate it, but when high school time I got around to it, enjoy it better than crappy Halloween films. Yeah, I like I said, it was on a bunch when I was a kid, and I saw it in the theater, and I was a bit confused by it as a kid. I don't think I totally understood that Michael Myers wasn't going to be in it, and when it was this weird sort of creepy witch story or whatever you want to call it, the evil. Basically, we'll talk about it. It's a James Bond movie. An evil guy is trying to take over the world, and he's got some master plan, and then some dude is going to defeat it, right? So, um, we'll talk more about that as we go on. Folks are both coming in here. Halloween 3 has a badass soundtrack. Yeah, I like the score in this one too and everything. We'd love to see James Bong new parody comedy. James Bong, he spies for the best nugs. Word, I'm on that. I wish they continued the different horror anthology stories like they did with Halloween 3. Yeah, yeah. We'll get talking about that here in a second. I still don't know if I can go and finish 2016 rained out. James Bond as a spy is front for nugs, and I like it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start this one. Uh, right now I'm on the AMC Presents when I press play. As Sean was talking about, the reason this is a weird one, and most people know the story, so pardon me for retelling it, but um, when the first Halloween came out, it was one of the most successful independent films of all time. It made $1 bajillion, and for a very super low budget, right? So because of that, they rushed to make a sequel, and they made Halloween 2. That's why some of the stuff in Halloween 2 doesn't totally like make sense. What do you mean he's his, that's his sister or whatever? So they get into other junk. So they weren't going to make any more Michael Myers movies. They didn't want to. They didn't want to use that character anymore. So they had this idea that they were going to make a Halloween anthology series, and every Halloween release a new movie like clockwork. You just knew the new Halloween movie was going to come out, and it would be all different stories, all different takes, kind of like Tales from the Crypt, except once a year at Halloween we would get a new Halloween story. So this is the first one of that concept. And then when they rolled it out, it was a massive. Well, it wasn't a flop actually. It would cost 4 million to make, and it made 14 million at the box office, something like that. So it was decent. It made its money back plus. But the thing is, compared to the other Halloween movies that made the first one all the money in the world, and then the second one a fair decent amount, this one was kind of a flop. So they got back to Michael Myers in the fourth one, and then that's where the weird timelines start. In part four, I think they kill off Jamie Lee Curtis and introduce her daughter, and then they move on, and that's when the Danielle Harris stuff comes in, and then later on they get into bringing Jamie Lee back, and it becomes like a choose your own adventure, which story you want to follow with Laurie Strode or not. But now this one's starting. It's super 80s. It's all like digital video game effects, graphics, and um, it's got the Carpenter score right there, music by John Carpenter. This one, it's got like I don't know, little bits of video drone almost in it, like this stuff. Very like the television is hypnotic. Poltergeist kind of had that same message. I think a lot of the folks who made movies in the early '80s were aware of how big television itself was coming. Director of photography Dean Cundy. He frequently works with Carpenter. That's part of the reason this movie looks good. Um, Probably haven't seen this one in 2 or 3 years, but it's one that I watch, around Halloween time every, like I say, 2, 3 years. Um, it's one that it's so much fun to watch, but at the same time, it's got its problems, but it's also amazing in its own weird way. Written and directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. The other main thing I know Tommy Lee Wallace from is It, the miniseries, the original one with Tim Curry. Let me see what else. You got anything else interesting, Tommy Lee Wallace? Um, so yeah, here we're starting. Northern California. All of these Carpenter movies take place then. I like that this one's Northern California though, instead of trying to be in Illinois and there's like palm trees in the background and stuff. Saturday the 23rd. Thus, 8 more days to Halloween. 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 8 more days to Halloween. Silver Shamrock. Um, yeah, it starts off with just very this. See, this isn't a Carpenter movie, but it feels like a Carpenter movie. That's how part two is as well. Like it's got this vibe of you know, his tone is there, but it's just not him. Right now this car coming over the hill with the lights and stuff. This all looks like Carpenter with the wet down roads. Well, every movie uses wet down roads at night. Oh, let's see here. Folks in the chat. I would love to see Wicked 2. Yeah, I didn't dig Wicked 1, but my daughter loved it. My daughter Davina was a big fan of it, so I'm interested in checking it out. Happy Devil's Night, y'all. The Crow. Yeah, I actually thought about watching The Crow, but this year I wanted to make sure I got this in. And Halloween's really the only time this movie's appropriate to watch. So since tonight I was kind of busy, I didn't get a chance to do a double feature, but I thought about watching The Crow as well. It's a fun break from horror movies. You watch so much horror in Halloween time, and it's just like um, bombardment, sensory overload. After a while, you become desensitized to these horror movies. So The Crow's a nice break it up movie. Cleanse your palate with this sort of superhero, rainy, cold thing, and it's real moody and goth. It's the Edgar Allan Poe superhero story. Same buddy. Let's see. I went to Medieval Times and Dave and Buster's. Oh, you've been out hobnobbing and bouncing around, my friend. What'd you think of Medieval Times? Did you have fun? Did you put the chicken skin on your face like Jim Carrey and Cable Guy? Stay in nothing but Trouble Town 2 days in this town for 2 days. Ooh, what the Valkenvania or whatever it's called. Yeah, I'd probably stay in this town, but I don't know. This town pretty bad too. Halloween 3 has some of the most vicious kills. Remember watching AMC TV edit it? They edited the crap out of this little kid pumpkin mask and they cut together the grasshopper falling out. Yeah, that's the thing why I said this one is kind of special. Is it as where Michael Myers is a slasher and the boogeyman? You're afraid to go to sleep at night because there might be someone out there trying to get you. This one is more like there's evil, sinister forces at work, and they're gonna go after the children of the world, you bastards, and they're gonna put these evil masks on the kids, and there's this part where like the bugs pour out of their eyes and all this. So there's so much creepy imagery, and then there's like weird who's real and who's android stuff, and um, our lead hero here, Tom Atkins. I love me some Tom Atkins. We'll go on and on about him later, but he's a drunken doctor, womanizer. He's got this nurse or whatever with him. It's too, the daughter or the whatever guy goes with him, and people often comment about that. Like the lead actor in this, that woman's too young for him. It's like it's Tom Atkins. He's cool all day long. Leave him alone. So we have this like sort of action sequence where we see this man is trying to escape and he's being chased, and he gets smashed together between two cars. The guy chasing him does. And this is taking forever. Now, 1 hour later at a rainy gas station. I like the titles of the subtitles along the bottom there, letting people know what time it is. This looks like the same gas station they used in Body Bags. I doubt it is. There's a million of those, but that's what it looks like. And there's an old documentary about Stonehenge that comes into play into this later. Here's your chance to sing Spinal Tap at home. Oh, hello. Thanks, and have a terrific day. Halloween 3 came out at the same time with Amityville 2. Um, I see Amityville 2, I don't think I saw in the theater. I remember watching that on cable. So here's the Silver Shamrock commercial. Um, but I saw this in the theater. We were on vacation. My family and I took a vacation to some place where they had like a golf resort and something else. So my dad golfed most of the days. My mom did whatever. And then at night, they took me to see a movie like 2 of the 3 nights we were there. And one of the movies we saw while we were there was this. And the other one was Max Dugan Returns with Jason Robards. Um, so it was like my parents didn't let me pick out movies anymore, I don't think. No, I think Max Dugan might have been a different trip. But I remember my dad being like, this movie's terrible. Where's the Michael Myers guy? And I was like, I don't know. I can't explain it to you. I'm a child. Yeah, this sure does look like the same gas station from Body Bags. Carpenter's the king of, well, not Carpenter. Tommy Lee Wallace trying to do John Carpenter, the king of these like foggy, rainy nights with this synth score. It's a much different film. It did something enjoyable, not the same tired shit. That's what I say. If you're looking for more Michael Myers because you like that character and you like, the whatever, the vengeance aspect, crazy person on the loose things that people love about Michael Myers, this isn't the film for you. But if you dig like a weird, just Tales from the Crypt story, something, a bizarre tale that takes place on Halloween and has all this, tone to it and gives you the creeps. Like right there, this that the gas station attendant is being lit by the windows outside and it's raining. So there's like sort of these like drops of light on him and stuff. For a super low budget B movie about killer Halloween masks, it's well done. That's why I think it became kind of a cult classic, is there was so many people who hated this movie because it wasn't Michael Myers and it has nothing to do with that whole world. But then the folks who do dig it, like I say, see it for what it is. It's Season of the Witch. It's its own contained story. Yeah, and here's our lead actor, Tom Atkins. He shows up and, he's half neglectful. He's cheating on his wife. He's an alcoholic. Talk about a flawed lead character, played by an awesome guy. I love me some Tom Atkins. Carpenter never disappoints with his scores, right? Um, Love the Italian-made film Amityville: The Possession. I think I've seen it, but I'm drawing a blank on what happens. If Tom Atkins somehow if Tom Atkins somehow said no to this role, who would you cast or would you not make? Thank you for being so awesome, Stacey. That's why you're wonderful, Stacey. I like that you're here. You get that Tom Atkins is sort of the fuel for this movie. Like the thing that's so cool about him in Night of the Creeps, whatever that vibe of his personality is, it just is, gets to be on full display here. He's used a little bit in The Fog and some other stuff, but I like his little, like almost a cameo. He's in the background of Escape from New York. He's just sort of there. But this, he's front and center. Um, who would I have instead of Atkins as I stall and think about how great Tom Atkins is? Um, uh, uh, I don't know. Adam Driver, just to move on from the question. That was a cop out. This movie's not terrible compared to crap like Halloween Ends in five. Yeah, there's a lot of all over the place with the Halloween universe. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. People argue over which is which. I actually like the Paul Rudd one. I'm like the only person who does. The music opening is so eerie and mysterious. Watching Cockneys versus Zombie film. I've seen Cockneys versus Zombies. Actually, I bought it for my cousin for Christmas one year. It's sort of a half gag gift because he loves weird movies like that. I want Cochrane and a clam immigration story. They get away from their Irish curse work, then betray the land in the West and create mass curse and steal Stonehenge, etc. Make now. See, yeah, that's the problem. Is this movie needs a slightly bigger audience to, because they should make something like that, or go ahead and make it low budget. Make it for get it to Blumhouse for 12 million. Crank this puppy out. Also, too, this stuff in the hospital here, it reminds me of Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror. He tries to mimic Carpenter in that, and then this is Tommy Lee Wallace trying to mimic Carpenter, and it sort of feels like yes, like looking through a mirror or something in a Carpenter movie. It's sort of surreal. It's not quite right, but it's close enough where you recognize it all. Dan Hurley, great. I want Cochrane. Okay, no, I'm watching Stranger Things season 4. Yeah, I just cranked through the Stranger Things. Me and Mrs. Night Owl barreled through that season, through that show, in anticipation of watching coming up at Thanksgiving. I believe is when the show finale is the last season. I watch every couple of months or more. I love this one. Yeah, this one, like I say, I try to watch it every Halloween, but somehow I get so caught up in so much horror stuff at Halloween that it often gets pushed to the back burner because I've seen it a million times. Um, but yeah, this was one I've been wanting to watch on the channel because I'd like it in the catalog of things I've watched because I love it so much. This is an easy one for me. I had to do very little homework. I know most of the scenes coming up. I have a few anecdotes about the movie itself. This one just writes itself. So I had to make sure to get this one in before Halloween. I love this movie. Look at Atkins' mustache. That is clean. Tom Selleck's mustache is all bushy. That's like it's tight above the lip, right over. Yeah, nice. I like it. Um, well, while we're talking about Tom Atkins, and I keep going on about how great I think the guy is. Um, well, let's see. Tommy Lee Wallace pretty much for the directing job because it got shut down by a few other directors. Most directors don't like doing sequels unless they're new and try to make a name for themselves. Yeah, for sure, and especially being the wanting to do the Michael Myers movie. That alone is something I probably wouldn't want to do as a young director unless that's all you could get. But then the Halloween that isn't the Michael Myers movie, I wouldn't want to take that job on. Crow is one of my favorite movies of 1994. Yeah, I love Crow. Kind of the factory and the various buildings. It took a little different, but the strange bingo hall below where the Stonehenge kept building, it was strange going in there. And is that what? Is it in Northern California or where did they shoot this? Tommy Lee was a kindly gent. Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, I was looking up some of his other films. I primarily know him from the It miniseries. Um, but he's what? Is he the Shape in the first one? Um, so he did Fright Night Part 2 as well. And yeah, he was one of the people in The Fog too. They keep wanting to show the stuff he acted in instead of directing. What a bunch of haters. So here we see the indication that the mask is evil. We're in the hospital and we see the pumpkin mask on there. That's sort of the weird thing about this. It's like you keep waiting for it the first time you see it and you know nothing about it and you don't know that it's not connected to Michael Myers. You keep waiting for him to show up, or like is there going to be some sort of plot twist where these masks are making people evil and that's why Michael Myers was evil because they had that mask or something. Some sort of nonsense that would tie back into the original story we came for Halloween, but it never shows up. That's part of the reason I enjoy it is because I've seen it so many times. It's like, okay, I know what to expect. I sort of know the primary players. As with all these Carpenter type films, whether Carpenter or Carpenter adjacent. The Northern California stuff, that look, the fog and all that. It just had they all have sort of a feel or a vibe to them. They take you to a place. These movies are a vibe, man. Um, I could never watch a movie on AMC, but that's cool to see that they're finally airing things instead of the same BS every year. Yeah, AMC with their editing. There's the part where the dude sets himself on fire and the car blows up. I love that because you can totally see that it's like a fake character, and then that it's a mannequin or whatever, a dummy in there. But then later on, that sort of makes sense as to why. This is a really good transfer. Like some of the shots are the colors and yeah, that fire at night and stuff. That all looks great. This is a really good presentation. Not bad, AMC. Like I said, I'm watching this on AMC Plus, the streaming one, so it's not edited and whatever. I don't believe there's any commercials. Let's see. Do I got any commercials? No commercials. Okay. This one's an hour 36 minutes. We're currently at the 1640 mark. Um, I'll put in watch with X-ray. Um, I like that the story like sort of unfolds and like he realizes he's not planning to get into a mystery or nothing. This thing just sort of falls in his lap. You know, it, this Halloween terror tale falls into his lap and he's going to take care of it and save all the rest of us. Did you see my Alucard Halloween video? No, I haven't. I'm a fan of Alucard, so I'll have to check that out. You hate sequels in general, or just these sequels? Yeah, it's the same guess. Okay, it's not the same. Yeah, that's what I mean. Along back in the day, there were so many of those. They're all over the place, but um, apparently Carpenter probably saw a lot of them when he was driving around. The RV family are awesome. I love their song Arrival. What is that song once? Maybe you'll notice you very upbeat when an RV arrives. Um, so we will keep an eye out for the RV. Recommended Rampage 87. Very forgotten William Friedkin that doesn't disappoint. Stars Michael Biehn, another serial killer in Sacramento that kills people and thinks he's a vampire. Rampage, huh? 1987. Interesting. I don't know if I've seen that or not. It sounds vaguely familiar. It might be one I need to check out. Anthony says, thank you. Congratulations for 1K. Thank you, Anthony. My mouth no worky. Thank you, Anthony, for that. Congratulations. Yes, a lot of nice folks. Sean, in particular, our friend Ginger Ninja. A bunch of people really chipped in and got me a big push over the hump there. Carrie Crave Cinema. So I thank everybody, the usuals who are here in the chat tonight, our friends who visited for a little while. Met a lot of new, nice people. A lot of folks messaged me on various platforms to tell me congratulations. They're very nice. Best part is when the little kid flips off his mom and he just post something about 1K in my community tabs. I enjoyed the Black Phone 2 this weekend and it did something different. Enjoy recommended Don and Ethan Hawke is still epic as the magician grabber. I need to see Black Phone 2. Black Phone 1 was creepy and weird and I dug it. Um it didn't feel like it was a movie I think that could have a sequel, but I figured also they would figure out some way after it made a bunch of money. Um but yeah, that's one I'm sure I'll catch on streaming. I saw Weapons just came to streaming on Max. I'm gonna check that out. HBO Max, whatever we're calling it these days. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I missed that at the theater. Very rarely do I get to the cinema, especially with kids and stuff. But the turnaround nowadays from being in the theater to on home and streaming is pretty amazing. Should Tom Atkins been Remo Williams? I would have taken that. That's an awesome idea. Stacy, you are a treasure. Yes, I don't know. For fans of Remo Williams, too, especially, you can see that. Uh, Fred, what's his name? He's good. Williams? No, that's the black guy. Fred, whatever, the guy from Tremors. Um, he's good in it because he has kind of that stern thing. He's like that dude from Walking Dead, Shane. Oh God, what's his name? The guy from the accountant movies. Um, the guy who was the Punisher doesn't matter. That guy. Or same with Frank Grillo. Those are all sort of Fred Ward. Is that his name? Fred Ward. That's it. They're Fred Ward knockoffs. So that's a good call on that one. Yes, I met that kid in real life. He's very nice. The man that played the father, I saw him on Broadway when I was young. Wow, you are awesome. Very familiar character actor. I thought Halloween 3 was much better than the Halloween movie that does Michael Myers. And like Halloween 5 is a boring piece of manure, and it really is. Yeah, Halloween 5 was one that was on cable a lot, but for some reason it never took. Like I say, what is it? Six is the one with Paul Rudd and the fake Howard Stern DJ and stuff. That's the one I've seen a bunch and I actually enjoy. Nobody else does. That's the one everybody else is like, why is there like nine versions of this movie? Goose Black Nurse with a tech. Yeah, he did Goose the Black Nurse. Tom Atkins is so badass and Night of the Creeps and Maniac Cop. Yes, for sure. That's a good spot to do ramble on about Tom Atkins. Uh, one time at a horror convention, I've told this story before a couple times, but it makes me laugh. I was at one in Milwaukee, and it was early in the day. We got there, try to beat the lines and get there, see stuff setting up or whatever. And I'm talking. I see Dee Wallace. I'm talking to her, and I see Sid Haig. It's just the usual cast of horror convention people. The dude who was the first Jason and has a band called First Jason. Scout Taylor Compton. All these people, right? So I look over in the corner, and there's Tom Atkins just sitting there. And part of the reason I love horror conventions and all that is they're surreal, anyways. Like you look around a room and Tom Atkins is sitting in the corner. And nobody's over by him. Nobody's hanging out by Tom Atkins. He's just chill. Just he looks almost sad, like kind of hanging out. And there's nobody like going to get pictures with him or talk with him. But it's early, so he can see that I'm talking to Dee Wallace, and Dee like she's super like big personality, like huggy and nice, friendly, wants to take pictures and talk and flirt and be just Dee Wallace. So she's awesome. Shout out to Dee. But Tom sees that I'm kind of talking with her or whatever. So when I come over by him, he's kind of like, "Oh, hey, do you want a picture? They're $20 or whatever, and you get this and this, and I'll sign this for you." And I was like, "Oh yeah, for sure, let's do this, whatever." So he stands up, he takes a picture with me, and I'm kind of talking with him. And I tell him, I love a bunch of the stuff you're in, Lethal Weapon and all these different things, but my favorite movie for you, besides Night of the Creeps, is Halloween 3. And he's like, "Really? Nobody likes Halloween 3." And I was like, "No, I love Halloween 3, dude, seriously." And this was like more than a decade ago before it became okay to admit you liked Halloween 3. So I explained to him my whole theory that this is like a James Bond movie, and he's basically James Bond. Some big super villain is going to destroy the world, and he's got a master plan that needs to be foiled and whatever. So you can see him kind of perking up and taking life, like enjoying that I'm sort of like, blazing him, whatever you want to call it. So after that, he's like, he starts calling me Don by name over and over, like, I appreciate that so much, Don. Da, 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 da. And then he turns to my friend. He's like, "You know what? Can you get another picture with us? Like, I feel like I didn't have enough energy on that first one." And then you can see like the two pictures. He's sort of like, and then the next one, he's like, like comes to life. So I stood there and talking with him about the various movies and cool stuff he's done, and how much I admire the man or whatever. So then we move on and go do other stuff, go bullshit with Sid Haig or whatever. And as the day goes on, sometimes I'd walk by where Tom Atkins was, and he'd be talking to people, and he now had a crowd, and he's selling shirts and merch and signing pictures and whatnot. And he'd go, "Don." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm friends with Tom Atkins." So whenever I see him, I'm always like, "That's the coolest, nicest man. Like, he's very chill. He just he wants to be appreciated for what he did without being like a big, diva star type person." So yeah, forever now. Whenever I see any Tom Atkins in anything, I'm pro Atkins. I have a full Atkins diet. So back to the chat here. Sylvester Stallone is Dr. Chalice. Oh, I'll take that. Do you wish he was? Do wished he was more a Maniac Cop as they killed him off too soon. Correct. Like I said, I wish he was in Escape from New York more than he is. I think whenever he pops up, I like his part. I love Halloween 4 and 4, but like 4 and 5, but like everyone's opinion. That's the thing that when you get into some of these franchises, even the people who are big fans of the franchises, Freddy, Jason, Chucky, whatever, they have their favorites and their ones they can do without. And it's not universal. Like the other night when we were watching Freddy and talking about it, so many people like the ones that other people don't like. And so many folks popped up to say how much they liked Freddy versus Jason and stuff. It's like to each their own. But at the same time, it's all sort of the same church, same church, different pew. Maybe James Woods is Dr. Childs. Oh, James Woods for sure. I like James Woods in anything. I wouldn't want to have to deal with James Woods like as a director or anything. He seems like a huge pain in the ass, but every movie he's in is great. Shithouse did ripped off Halloween 3 opening credits, which really bugged me and makes me put Halloween 3 instead and feel much better. Good move. So here's another Silver Shamrock commercial. So many movies back in the day, they don't do this anymore, where you would see a TV store It's like a bad movie trope, just the big picture window filled with all the TVs. And somehow you can hear the TV just fine too. Lots of criminals on the run seeing pictures of themselves on TVs and store windows. Lot of news gets spread that way in movies. Oh, we just happened by a big wall of TVs explaining that the meteor's about to hit the Earth. So here's the big California countryside. Like I said, the part of the charm of this movie is this Northern California stuff. It's got a different vibe from the suburbs of um, Haddonfield, Illinois. Yeah, I drew a blank there. Sorry, it's late. I think they worked in James Woods and Cat's Eye. Oh, I love James Woods and Cat's Eye. I get a kick out of American Gothic 1988, Rod Steiger, Von Carlo. That was one I watched on video, VHS as a kid, and it went way over my head. So bizarre. Yes, that was so charismatic. I don't even care. Woods needs more. Always correct. Girls, I have some good news and bad news. Good news is your dates are here. Girl, what's bad news? They're dead. Right? That's the thing. Night of the Creeps is another classic one I need to watch on this channel. That one you don't need to watch at Halloween. You can watch Night of the Creeps whenever. That weird 50s vibe to it just works anytime year round. This one I find works best at Halloween. I was talking about Haunt with my friend Papa Goss. Be sure to check out at Papa Goss. He's awesome. Um, uh, and we were discussing like what a fun movie that is. I recommend Haunt if you haven't seen it. It's just a gruesome slasher horror movie that takes place in a haunted house, but it pushes a lot of horror buttons. But that's one that doesn't work in July. You can't watch Haunt in May and get the same vibe that it needs. It needs to be watched around Halloween time. Thrill me. Big James Woods fan, right? Anytime he turns up, I was watching Any Given Sunday pretty recently, and it was like, there's James Woods just being James Woods. God love him. No, that's kind of interesting. There's sort of a rule in movies, or I don't know if it's a rule, but at night, whenever you see things shot, whenever they show a road or a street, they always water it down first. That way, it reflects the light. The street doesn't look so dull. It gives the scene a little bit of a pop. So in movies, it's just finished raining always whenever anybody's out. So it's kind of comical. Like every single movie just finished drizzling. You just missed the rain. Um, so there was a shot in the daytime where they had watered down the street, and I don't know if I'd ever seen that before. It's kind of interesting. Like you can tell it clearly hadn't just rained, but at the same time the road had sort of a glisten to it. It was interesting. So here they pull into this little, tiny motel thing, and they're gonna stay the night together. Wink, wink. And you can see the silver shamrock factory is in the background. It looks like a funny kind of matte painting almost. Maybe it was a motel near a real factory and they did a matte painting for the sign or something. But where are we? They also did an American Gothic TV program, and it was great. I remember it being on. I never watched that. I didn't know they were connected. Also show with Gary Cole. My Midnight Caller is awesome. Dennis Dunn from Big Trouble in Little China's in that too. Midnight Caller, isn't that very similar to the oh God, Eric Bogosian DJ movie. What the heck is that one? Where he's like a late night guy, and there's some sort of killer out on the loose, and he's talking to him. I can't remember what that one's called, but that one felt like the TV version of that movie. Yeah, this was filmed in California. Yeah, you can tell it just looks like Northern California. That's one of the issues a lot of people joke about with Halloween 1 is it's supposed to be in the Illinois suburbs and you can see palm trees and stuff. I'm going to give Jim Swim's Home Film Festival. He asked me to accept my offer. He's a magician of acting, right? He's one of those people, and this is a touchy subject. I come off like a real dick when I talk about this. I apologize. But there are certain actors, James Woods, Tom Atkins, they don't really have the pretty skin like most actors. Jackie Earl Haley. They're not really destined for the big screen. And somehow they broke through in the early 80s. So it shows the triumph of their amazing acting skill that they can kind of overcome not being traditionally handsome. Here's the RV people, Stacy. They are some straight up cousin Eddies. Is that Julia or Julie Brown? No, that is Betty Cupford, Jadine Barber. Shout out to her. Yeah, they've got a real cousin Eddie vibe to them. Oh boy, Tom Atkins is in all sorts of trouble. I dig that members only jacket, Tom Atkins. You make it look good. You could hook me up to a lie detector, and I swear I would be so much. There's nobody else I'd rather have in this. Like, what if we replaced him with Tom Selleck or something? I'm like, it would be a worse movie. It wouldn't be a better movie. Burt Reynolds? Yep, no, no, wouldn't work. Burt Reynolds would ruin it. He'd be giggling at the robots. Um, no, Bullwinkle moves thrill me. Mainly a horrible cell phone reception area surrounded by too many trees. I could see that. Very unemployed and disparate area. Humboldt's economy is wrecked by nug legalization. Oh yeah, Humboldt County, especially. Humboldt was famous before all that. Lolita and Garbageville are the murder capitals of California per capita. I had my driver go fast. Okay, good info. So those of you going through those areas, take that advice. Why is our name in blue? Your name is in blue? Oh, because you're a moderator. Actually, I need to. While I'm thinking about that, sorry about that. We needed to open up the bunch of y'all needed to be getting to be moderator status, and I haven't done that. So pardon me. Turn that off. Stacy needs a moderator. Okay, standard, yes. Sorry about that. As I had a little in-house business there. Sean, same deal. I love Colonel Cochran in this too. For my entire life, I thought he was Colonel Cochran. Um, so also, oh, Oracle's here. Welcome, people. I'm so behind on this. Let me get caught up on this chat as I play around this stuff later. Where were we? Halloween Ends still sucks. The original ending they were going to do is Halloween 3 after Laurie and Elsa fight off Michael and Corey and the Mask Factory and Silver Shamrock Mask. See, that would have been cool. I would have been down for that. This movie, I disliked that it's sort of bastardized. You know, it's the bastard child of the Halloween series. That's why I almost wish they could just drop Halloween 3 from it. Just call it Season of the Witch. That's all it needs to be. There's not going to be any confusion in the marketplace with the George Romero movie about bored housewives. Okay, cool. Thanks, Tom. There you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got your Russell, got your wrench there. The lady that wants her mask in the master late, she gives off Olympia Dukakis vibe. Hey, shout out to Olympia Dukakis. She was a big thing for a while there in the '80s, especially. Well, she was for a long time, but um, the urgent care if he's in. If not, take his card. There's Travis Mitchell. Travis, I just actually subscribed to you earlier today. I meant to do it the other night during dropping by. Once again, Travis was here when I hit 1,000 the other night. It's the first time I met him, so it's nice to have you back, my friend. Welcome. Thank you for recommending stream for Lady in White last night, Stacy. It's definitely one movie I enjoyed revisiting the last month. Yeah, that was a Stacy rec. Stacy, you're a star of the community. I love you. Yeah, that was one I saw you watching, and I was busy doing some crap, and I was like, I need to get back and put that on. I love that movie. I saw that in the theater too. As a kid, I used to love to go to the theater. That was like my favorite thing to do. If I was going to get out of the house, if I wasn't home playing video games or up late watching movies, I was usually at the cinema. You know, I didn't like to go just hang out at the mall for no reason. It felt weird. But to go to the movies or hit up the food court, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, Lady in White is one I saw in the cinema. I always loved that one. Crazy, weird, spooky, typical ghost story. Ghosts always want you solving some crime. Fred Ward was good as Remo, but Atkins' charisma is wild. Yes, for sure. Travis, thanks, I appreciate it too, and Don as well. Fred Ward and Uncommon Valor is good. Another hidden gem. I love me some Uncommon Valor. Um, not enough movies like that. It's basically just the Expendables. You know, like they get a group of people together. Well, I mean, the Avengers, whatever. You get a group of people together. You send them on some mission. Some of them get picked off, Dirty Dozen style, Magnificent Seven, whatever. And that one's about some dudes going back to Vietnam. Of course, in the '80s, there was all this stuff with folks going back to get the POWs and all that. And that's one where Gene Hackman is going to get his son, and it's got like Reb Brown in it, and I don't know. That's a fun one where they're training and then they go handle their business. Uncommon Valor is to Rambo as Iron Eagle is to Top Gun. There's your SAT equivalency. This is kind of a prototype to They Live. Middle-aged flannel wearing guy head reveals a conspiracy to corrupt people teaming up with a girl who ends up being evil at the end. It is true. That's a good call, Travis. I like it. I like it. That's a good call. Yeah, I mean, obviously, uh, I enjoy They Live very much. I think there's so much going on in it. I enjoy They Live more than this, mainly just because it's got Carpenter's real seal of approval instead of the sort of Carpenter homage style to it. But yeah, that's a very very good analogy there. I like that. That connection is good. I've said that before with Carpenter. I find that like Ghosts of Mars has a bit of a Assault on Precinct 13 thing to it. Um, so here's where this old man gets captured. Sorry, back to the movie. Every now and then I get distracted because I love this movie. And these robot henchmen, dude, they just look evil. They got like a corporate slash newsman vibe to them. They just straight up rip this dude's head off. But once again, very clean, even though there's a big blood spurt. Not too bad. That's why I said I saw this so much as a kid in the afternoons on HBO or Cinemax and stuff. For some reason, they thought this was a child friendly or after school friendly type show. I can see that, Travis. The similarities are there. Yeah, I agree. I could see that. I think Atkins' hearing is not as good now, but Night of the Creeps with Tom Atkins playing his character brother. Yeah, Atkins was a super cool guy. I love Night of the Creeps. Creeps. I need to watch it again. Fred Willard's funny in Dead Heat. Dead Heat's a good one. Yeah, that's another not very popular. Very memories of Dee Wallace. She was very kind. Yeah, like I say, she was. Uh, we got to this horror convention very early one day, and she was raring to go, and just kind of like huggy, flirty, just full of life, telling me anecdotes about Cujo and all these different stuff. Super fun lady to talk to, especially a lot of these places get busy in the turnover of them trying to sign pictures and take pictures. So early on like that, when it's not crowded, they'll talk to you, especially if they're morning people. The medical field seemed very loose here in Halloween too in this era, correct? Lots of every time I watch Blowout, the De Palma movie, the part where they're in the emergency room after the car accident, and John Travolta's smoking a cigarette in the emergency room, I'm like, someone come in and smack him. What? Night of the Creeps 2? Did they make one? Or they need to, if not. Not the best for me. The best time for medical efficiency or security. Correct. Nanette's here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Net and probably Jack. Nice to see you. Yes, make Night of the Creeps Legacy Quill now, right? How about a Night of the Creeps TV show? I always thought Slither had a, real like homage to Night of the Creeps vibe to it, the James Gunn movie, accepting any walk-ins from anyone who might have medical experience. Right? Same with like Halloween 2. I think people try to tap into stuff that's scary, and in general, people don't like to be at the hospital, so just that's a scary place to set it. Um, the setting in Halloween 2, I thought sort of works perfect because you got this traumatized person, and they, of course, probably have to go to the hospital afterwards. So when, the killer comes looking for her, that's the natural place. So yeah, here's what they're in the hotel, and they almost do a nude scene, but they don't. It's the fake out. Like I said, this was on a lot after school. Hi Dan, I love. Go on dark ride for this or Slaughter High. Slaughter High. Another Creeps is so much fun. I'd also love a part two. Yeah, right. Um, that I don't know who you would get. I think they would do something stupid though, probably, because if they reinvigorated that, it would have to be some, whatever that. Not Seth Rogen, but someone like that. That sort of thing. Like, Dax Shepard has a take for Night of the Creeps. Do not like this movie, but I come here to support you, Don. Thank you, Nanette. And I appreciate that you're here to support me and being a person who not like doesn't like this movie. My friend Angie, a comedian, she like absolutely hates this movie. She's a big Michael Myers fan, and sometimes when I talk to her about this, she's like, "I can't believe you like this terrible movie." I'm like, well, I'm sorry. It's got a special place in my heart. Oracle, welcome back. What is going on, people? Yeah, like I said, I was just flipped in to give a few people moderator status, and I saw Oracle was here, so welcome. And then here's them having their sex scene. She got the little teddy on. She was trying to seduce Atkins. She was trying to get Atkins from the start. Take the sentence that Dr. Chalice and her saying driving up and down and make that basis for the prequel. That works. Ernest Scared Stupid. Just good to say in general for any reason. Night of the Creeps versus Critters. I like Night of the Creeps better. Critters is fun. Um, Critters I haven't seen in a while. There's so many of those after Gremlins ripoff movies, Critters and Ghoulies and Munchies and whatever. Um, that personally, I'm a fan probably of those more of the original Gremlins. Bye, Oracle. I think he's supposed to say hi, Oracle. I love both, Sean, mate. There's always been a talk of Creeps sequel and Atkins coming back. I speculate the aliens in search for Creeps would bring Cameron back via DNA. He was best specimen to kill them. Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna do it for sure, do it while Atkins is healthy enough to do it. Fear City X-rated, but Abel Ferrara is awesome. Berenger, Melanie Griffith, Billy D. Williams. That's one I saw, but I don't think I saw the X-rated cut. I think I saw the R cut. Abel Ferrara, he's wild. I remember watching the grown-up cut of Bad Lieutenant. A lot of times on cable they'll show the regular R cut, but the rougher cut. Abel Ferrara's he pushes boundaries, bro. Yes, it's a banger for sure, Stacy. Her father, a longstanding match by relationship with Silver Shamrock. I'd buy a copy of his ledger. Of Abel Ferrara and the driver, driller killer uncount. Not connected to American Gothics, but just some titles as far as I know. Oh, okay, gotcha. Every time I see Dick Warlock in this, I see Peter Cetera from Chicago. Um, yeah, Dick Warlock is arguably probably the coolest name in all of time, right? Like, every time I see it, I just think, whoever thought of that as their name, that man was a genius. Mr. and Mrs. Warlock, shout out to you for naming your son Dick. Maybe the Joker in Halloween 3 is Colonel Cochran, a Halloween mask with laughing gas that's annihilating everyone. Okay, crossover. I like it. He got famous through Barbra Streisand. She saw him as an extra trying to make some scenes for himself and wrote himself a role in The Way We Were. It's amazing he accomplished with that. Yeah. I didn't realize that's how he got to start. He puts himself in every scene in the first 40 minutes, and they give him lines, and he went way out and built a character for him. Billy Warlock in the Body Horror Film Society. Yeah, I like Society's a wild one. I'd like to watch that sometime just because it'd be one of the film. It's one of the few films, even though you've seen it several times, you still react to it like, ooh. They're still friends despite their differences. Good. Yeah, that movie is wild fun. Russell Society. Love Colonel Cochran. Yeah, like I say, oh, there's the part where the face busts open and this bug crawls out of the mouth. Lots of gross bug stuff in this. Yeah, once again, the reaction video, unintended. No matter how many times I see gross bug stuff, I'm always going to stop and go, ew. Oh, okay. Now I'm in Wrenchville, Don. Thanks. No problem. Yeah, I need to go through and fix some of those. My legs are dumb on Glacier Doors. Yeah, I usually watch through the StreamYard app instead of through the um, YouTube app. Hey, Atkins ass. Askins. Sorry. Ooh, I can put people on timeout. Yeah, so since I don't usually open up the YouTube app while I'm doing this, I should go through that way actually and watch it through YouTube's thing. I just don't. I'm the bad boy of streaming that way. I might be able to stay because it's storming here right now. Well, I hope you're okay. Yes, we often get bad reception. That's one of the things with middle of the night too. I've told people about this before. Uh, your cable company, your what favorite websites, Google, everybody, they do their updates in the middle of the night because they know that's when they have the least amount of users, right? And same way a store might do inventory in the middle of the night or something. So yeah, like sometimes the cables will the Wi-Fi will shut down for an hour or two while they do maintenance and stuff. So middle of the night streaming is often a real adventure. There's plenty of times where some streaming site is taking movies down or adding movies, so they're down for a little bit. HBO Max is real bad about that. There's Colonel Cochran, or as I always thought, Colonel Cochran. You should sell chicken. What is this actor's name? I never remember it. Dan O'Hurley. Sorry about that. Stacey mentioned it early. His voice and just like I don't know. He's in so much stuff, but every time he turns up, like he's that gravitas, that voice, from RoboCop and shit, right? Isn't that him? Atkins Deliverance. He's emoting there. Yeah, I think what they've no, that looks like I can't tell. I can't tell if that silver shamrock sign is fake or not. Like if they did like some sort of matte painting overlay, or did they just make a big fake, real low budget silver shamrock sign to put on an old factory? I have questions. Stacy, do you know? Bullets Over Broadway was underrated. I don't remember if I've ever seen it. I can see something more of him based on Batman and Begins of the Scarecrow. Yes, I'd like to see the Irish come over as an indentured service, then start doing their magic and get ahead. I'd be all for that. Go for a deep cut prequel. Start a whole franchise of Season of the Witch. They summon dark arts and break free of Imperial. Let's see, they wanted them all with the red hair, but this movement some suits, very efficient kills. Have you read Unmade Shane Black script Shadow Company? It was supposed to be directed by Carpenter. I have not. Shadow Company, huh? And I usually enjoy Shane Black. He comes and goes. I didn't like that most recent Predator, but prior to that, Shane Black's his collection of films I'm usually for. Maybe they could explain I got that Stonehenge in the factory, right? It's the one from Spinal Tap. It's 2 feet tall. A bloody Stonehenge that's in danger of being crushed by a dwarf. Is this place a zoo? They use David Blaine. That's how they do everything. Do you have AMC Plus? Yeah, that's what I'm watching it on. Um, uh, unfortunately, it was kind of interesting to watch this year. I do it every year now. The various companies, the movie producers, the production, the big ones, Warner Brothers, Paramount, MGM, all of them. The studios, that's the word I was looking for. I'm dumb as hell. The studios, they all have their own streaming channel, right? Disney, Warner Brothers is through Max, MGM Plus, all these people, right? So to watch the shuffle before Halloween or around Christmas of like, um, Max won't have Trick or Treat, but then they'll make sure to try to get it back around Halloween time. Or same with the Freddy movies, and Paramount. I think isn't it Paramount owns Jason or whatever. So watching the musical chairs of everything leaving Tubi and then going back to their proper home, and um, the runaround of what's where when you're looking for it. So yeah, the AMC Plus, they are showing all of the Halloween movies. But if you want the Freddy's, those are on Max. And I believe the Friday the 13ths are on maybe MGM Plus or Paramount or one of them. I don't know. Oops, damn it! I went to the back. Oh, I jumped way ahead and I shouldn't have. There we go. The script centers on a genetically enhanced squad of soldiers getting killed in Vietnam only to come back from the dead in the 80s, going first blood in an entire town at Christmas. It's awesome. I could see Shane Black writing that, and I could see that being awesome. I could see Carpenter doing that. Yeah, that would have been a great movie. Nanette. Hello, Don. Hello, Nanette. Yes, Jack is here. He's asleep on my foot. Good boy, Jack. You're a good boy. Is this doctor even legit? I'd like to be see where's your ID, right? A lot of sketchy folks in this. Here's the part where there's just like pointless masks. Like they're at the Silver Shamrock facility, and they go in, and there's the RV people and everything. But like they have some masks up for display because they're the Silver Shamrock company. But then sometimes they just have masks laying around. And what's the story with that Wolfman mask or that football player mask? Whole separate sequels you could do about them. Bring back the three night from Creeps, and maybe this one can walk better now. Right? I'll take that. He's dead, and he'll be back with a twin, etc. Would you name your Gremlins ripoff franchise? Oh boy, Dingleberries. Stacy, welcome on. Travis, either running, drinking, grabbing butts, or eating, then falling asleep. I know that's why he's the perfect hero. Um, the 70s especially, they had kind of these anti-hero heroes. There's a whole bunch of them, just like half jerks, mean to their girlfriends, and real emotionally unavailable. Most of them are alcoholics in some way or another. I don't know. I think it gave the lead character more depth, but after a while, they became more like altruistic and they're a little more goody goody cowboy white hat. Las Vegas scenes in the new Jets movie will be key. I am all for that. That's it. It should look kind of like Coruscant, except different. Atkins taking back with something I did not see, like a giant Dorito. Right? I did not need to see that. Yeah, well, I mean, the amount of times Michael Douglas shows his butts in movies, it amazes me. Like, there's something about, middle-aged dude with a good butt. It's like, you people are gonna see it. All right, a lot of guys my age, their butts are terrible. Look at this butt. You could bounce a quarter off Tom Atkins' ass. I love Society. Yeah, Society's wild. Just th- some of the imagery is lifetime haunting. Momenting's building. I get respect for the Ronnie Dangerfield biopic that will star Brendan Fraser. When do you get some more attention in his new movie Rental Family that should be announced? Oh, yeah, I would like to see Rodney Dangerfield biopic with Brendan Fraser. Actually, that's a perfect casting because Brendan's even kind of got the eyes and everything. Like, yeah. Have you seen the film Satanic Panic? I think I have. I've watched so many documentaries and stuff about it. It's such a fascinating topic. Uh, the hippies and the people in the 60s and into the 70s, they did more like free love, free swinging, showing pornos in regular movie theaters and stuff. So there's kind of a bounce back in the 80s, and everybody tries to be like real, Christian and, morality kind of thing. And they're all against heavy metal and horror movies, and Satan's going to steal your children. It's like, weren't you the same people who were high on acid like a decade ago? What the hell? So, yeah, there's sort of this moral pushback, like real puritanical crap, where lots of people are afraid Satan is going to get at their kids. It's a good way to keep people scared watching the news. David Tennant would also make good Colonel Cochrane. I think I would see that. Colonel Cochrane actually probably be the easiest role to cast because there's so many good older actors that have such big gravitas. You could even go Samuel L. Jackson. Well, probably not with the Irish. Take that back. But you know what I mean. Like the ability to cast that character isn't as hard. The Atkins. I don't know who you're ever going to get to replace Atkins. Goose is the black rose casually and laughs. All right. Let's see here. Mikey, Freddie Just Kids wants to. Um, but shown is four times multiple. What's a sequel to Carpenter film you would like to see? Oh, that's an awesome question, Travis. Thank you. Let's see. I don't know. Because here's the thing. I love Escape from New York so much. Like it's maybe my favorite Carpenter. He has so many I love, but that's one I have a personal affection for. And I feel like I didn't get what I wanted out of Escape from LA. Like it feels like it's almost a parody of the Escape from New York. Escape from New York's so serious. And Carpenter, as he gets a little older, some of his stuff doesn't feel as real. It feels more. The Ward is a little grounded in realism, but I don't know. Some of his stuff just feels goofy at times. So I don't know if I'd want to see Carpenter do a sequel to anything of his. Um, I think They Live. There's a lot of fruit, stuff for storytelling there. You probably really dig into that world. Um, the Thing. The Thing, there probably needs to be a decent, well written sequel for, not that prequel one that we had. Um, In the Mouth of Madness. I could see a whole big universe of In the Mouth of Madness. Sean says In the Mouth of Madness for me. Yeah, that's the thing with those. He has that Apocalypse trilogy, the In the Mouth of Madness, The Thing, and Prince of Darkness, um, where the movie basically ends with the world supposedly ending once the movie ends, or the start of the world ending. So you could kind of pick up in the next level of where the world's ending and watch society fall apart, in the Mouth of Madness, seeing tentacles attacking everything or whatever, insanity taking over everyone, everybody going nuts. So now we're at the 54, 50, 55-minute mark. There we go. There's 45 minutes left in the movie. They've just now, they're at the factory and they're trying to get in, snoop around more and more. Especially this woman he's with, she's determined to get in there. And that's part of the charm of this. he has this pretty young dame with him. They're out trying to solve this mystery. We've seen this movie a dozen times. Then when it turns out at the end with her, and the question is this her the whole time? And then they replace her with a robot at the end, or is she a robot the whole time, or whatever? Um, Memoirs too. Memoirs of an Invisible Man. I'm good. When you like to see a sequel to Village of the Dam, Stacy. Village of the Dam, I didn't like either. That's another one. It seems like Carpenter would have done such a great job of that, but it's heavy-handed in a lot of parts. I don't know his ability to get believable uh acting performances that don't bounce you out of the movie. They don't they're you're able to suspend your disbelief. A lot of stuff in that era, Village of the Damned, Escape from LA. I don't I don't know. They feel like parodies of his movies. They don't quite feel right. As where The Thing, Escape from New York, Halloween, they all feel serious as a heart attack. Yeah, a bunch of folks agreeing with Sean. They'd like to see more in the Mouth of Madness. By the way, you can see more in the Mouth of Madness. We did that as a watch along on the channel here. Feel free to go back through the catalog and find that, as well as many other John Carpenter movies. Big Trouble in Little China. I'd like to see a sequel to that. For a long time, they were talking about making some sort of sequel or a reboot or something with The Rock as Jack Burton. No thanks. Until she puts her hand in the boiling water, it's scary in the Village of the Damned. Yeah, the original Village of the Damned, the black and white one, to me is relatively scary. It's got a Twilight Zone vibe to it, but I don't know the Carpenter one. Other than the kids, like I think no disrespect to Christopher Reeve, he had a tough life there at the end and all that, but he's just I don't know. He's not very good in it. Neither's Kirstie Alley. The kids are scary, but yeah, I don't know. Big Trouble in Little China 2 could probably be something fun. Also, look at Sean, always one step ahead of me. Thank you, brother. I agree with that. Fog remake, or whatever, was so bad. I would love to have another one because that would be better than the last one. Correct. Yeah, that Fog disappointed me bad. My friend Kal-El Daly loves Superman so much that he even likes that movie because Tom Welling's in it. Like, oh brother. Yeah, no, that one, the Fog. That I don't know anybody who likes that other than Cal. Everybody else just agrees that movie was terrible. That was a bad money grab. It's a early 2000s horror, too glossy. I'm sure in like 20 years somebody will find it and be like, "This is a classic, a hidden gem." I would like to see a sequel to Village of the Damned. Yeah, more Village of the Damned might be interesting. A Village of the Damned, except they're all in the government. Huh? Jack Burton goes to Little India. Oh, hey, there you go. Village of the Damned is an interesting pick. Yeah, like I said, I'd like to see them, the grown-up Village of the Damned kids. What are they up to? Make They Live, post-apocalyptic, no one's alive. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see. You could have basically do like an aliens type movie where they live. Have Marines fighting against the aliens, and them trying to manipulate them and hypnotize them and using all sorts of what it's psyops or whatever it's called. Propaganda and things to infect our soldiers into attacking each other. And I don't know, you could probably do a lot with They Live if you had a real creative sci-fi mind throw at it. Now something new looms on this planet, right? They lived in a van down by the river, right? Chris Farley. Oh, hello, Mrs. Night Owl. Mwah, as our baby always says. Nice to see you, love. She's in the other room, taking care of baby Night Owl. Started the show a few minutes late today because baby Night Owl was throwing a crying fit. She was very upset we weren't in there showing her love and affection and giving her snacks. I've never seen In the Mouth of Madness. Oh, it's very good. It's Sam Neill, super like that's to me it's Carpenter's maybe his last great movie. I don't know, is They Live after that? No, They Live's before that, right? Whatever. Yeah, like I say, Carpenter has an era that I love, and then once he gets to a certain point, I just don't like him as much. His movies don't hit the same way, bro. They're not the same vibe. Um, but yeah, I enjoy In the Mouth of Madness a lot. It's you would like it. It's got a big Stephen King thing to it. I know you're a King fan. It's they sort of take this author who's a mashup of Stephen King and Lovecraft, and do a whole thing where he goes missing, but he goes missing into one of his stories, and they go into the town and all that. It's wild. You'll like it. I get high in a van down by the river. Good one. For H3, I imagine the sequel set in the same night, but a time zone 1 hour behind the rest of the country, and they hear the call from Chalice having 1 hour to stop the commercial from airing. That's interesting. I like that. See, you guys are much better than Hollywood, and I'm not joking. Marissa Tomei, new Stevie for Fog. I would actually look at you. See, that's good casting, actually. The Marissa Tomei in place of Adrienne Barbeau. I'm down for that, for sure. You know what? You could maybe even get like one of the even huge stars. I could see Sandra Bullock or Julia Roberts wanting that role because it's such a small enough role. Like she's the star, but it's also there's she wouldn't have to work too hard to be endear herself to the horror community that way. Baby Night Owl is kind of scaring me. What's she up to? Or just calling her Baby Night Owl. You know, last town unaffected people are trying to cause a blackout as the remaining Shamrock pods close in to finish a bit like Assault on Precinct 13. Yeah, or just, there's so much damn zombie stuff. And I make jokes about diet zombie movies where sorry, here's this part that looks like In the Mouth of Madness with the lady knitting. She looks like Whistler's mother. Um, and then, he gets up close and realizes it's, a machine or whatever. This all feels very much like In the Mouth of Madness. That's creepy. Where was I? You have the last time effect people are trying to do. Yeah, like I said about zombie movies. Because zombies are so overdone, but that vibe, that tone of like people in a post-apocalyptic world trying to like salvage and keep their lives going in spite of whatever else. The 28 8 weeks later, The Quiet Place. All this stuff. Um, do one where all these people are just wearing this mask and there's just bugs everywhere. They keep finding dead bodies with masks on it. It sort of writes itself. So here's Atkins in the box fight. They have this fight in this warehouse, and it's not quite They Live, but it's that same thing. Like it's not jujitsu and grabbing wrists and twisting it, putting weird nerve holes on and stuff. He's just like wrestling around and trying to knee each other, and then he punches him in the gut, and his hand goes straight into his stomach and pulls out wires. And between that and Whistler's mother, there, it's pretty clear what's going on here. But right there, they invented Ghostbusters slime. He got slimed. And the Matrix, these henchmen, the Matrix totally ripped off that. My cousin Vinny. I love my cousin Vinny too. Favorite kill in this? Probably that one we just saw, but actually that explosion early on is hilarious because, like I say, they cut to dude and you can clearly see it's a mannequin or a whatever. But then, like later on, when we learn these people are robots, it sort of makes sense. But I don't know. She was playing peekaboo with the closet. Okay, so you're afraid of the baby seeing ghosts, and I don't blame you. That's part of the reason I'm out here. Did you know Stephen King earlier was inspired by Lovecraft, right? Yeah, yeah. Stephen King's inspired by everybody. He's so prolific and writes so much that his inspirations come from all over the place. But I know Ray Bradbury was also another big influence of him. Pontypool zombie film is great. Yeah, we talked about that the other night. Pontypool is a fantastic, underrated gem. Real cheaply made, but awesome. Bring Stevie Barbeau back, and she has a twin. Oh, there you go. My favorite kill is Tester May when that little bastard gets his head melted, and that scene kind of traumatized me when I first saw it as a kid. I was too young to comprehend it. So here's Sunday the 31st, Halloween. The leopard twin has possessed her, maybe. I sure hope not. Snakes and bugs, right? We are at the 104, pretty much the 105 mark. They're walking Atkins. They've captured him. There's a half hour left, and that's one of the things that's interesting to me. That's why I say it feels like a James Bond movie because James Bond gets captured, and then the bad guy has to sort of like explain his plan and everything. But this is one of the first movies I saw that had the like I say, that Matrix idea where the villains aren't a street gang; they're like suit and tie wearing clean cut corporate villains. Yeah, I was surprised with Pontypool Russell. Yeah, that's a fun one. I recommend that to people. Do you think the woman with chalice is a robot the whole time? Um, no, I don't know. Because yeah, I mean, my whole life I always thought that they replaced her at the end. Like she got captured and then they sent a robot out to have that last thing with her. But it's very possible she is too. I mean, it's one of the many charms of this movie, the sci-fi horror aspect of it. It's a lot to dig into. Down with the bad robots down. Howdy, y'all. Welcome, 59th Survivor, my friend. Glad you are here. You own this one on VHS, my friend? Wires and Minute Maid OJ, right? Total. It looks like the cheap knockoff of Slime. The special effects are fun in this. Yeah, for sure. Um, one notch above like Star Trek. They're not great. The bug stuff terrifying, but like some of the things with the human body, you can clearly see it's a dummy before they do stuff. Oh, I love the bad guy computer headquarters. They got the factory floor there, and it looks like Star Trek. Speaking of Star Trek, there you go. And there's the giant Stonehenge monument we talked about earlier. You guys are really doing it. Yeah, this is all James Bond stuff. Look how vast my evil empire runs. Hey, 59th. Yeah, everybody loves 59th. He's the man. Sean, I live 5 hours away from Pontypool, Ontario. You should go there and do a video. That's cool. 5 hours is a long way, but it might be worth it. Might those clicks? Get those clicks. They use a lot of frozen OJ in H3. Yes, for sure. I'm telling you, that was the Ghostbuster slime or GAC or whatever you want to call it. The way he held it up and it gooped down his hand. I think Ghostbusters needs to write them a check. Carpenter's in the Mouth of Madness is heavily influenced by H.P. Lovecraft's whole tiny scene with creatures in it. Yeah, and then some of the stuff when they're in that town, it's called Hobbs End or whatever, and like there's just tentacles and weird, creepy, whatever. Yeah, In the Mouth of Madness is great. We have a watch along that on the channel. I recommend anybody who's seen that go check it out. If you haven't, go see In the Mouth of Madness or find that. Locked in a tomb a week. What music do calm you? Oh, musical score to calm me. Ooh boy, that's tough for score. Um, I might go something John Williams. I'm a lame like that. Danny Elfman might help me with something, something Beetlejuice or something like that, sort of bouncy. But yeah, John Williams, anything. Like, what's a good score is The Usual Suspects. It's a surprisingly good score. Speaking of Brendan Fraser, I could see him in the chat house roll a little bit. Yeah, yeah. I don't know who else. Who else would be good Chalice? The more we talk about it, um, see, it's such a fun role that I could see anybody from a big star taking it. You could put freaking Jake Gyllenhaal in that role, but then you could also see like you know uh, Michael Rooker doing it. It's such a vast part. Like anybody from any spectrum of like Hollywood notoriety could be in it. Gary Busey is Dr. Chalice. Hi Nanette, CDO Big Broski. I just got a short mail and long enough time to catch up. Yeah, nice to have you here, my friends. The night before last, we watched Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. And during that stream, I hit 1,000 subscribers. So last night, I took a night off and celebrated just hanging out with the family. They're the ones that suffer the most when I'm off making videos and stuff. So took a day yesterday to just take a deep breath, reflect on finally hitting that 1,000. And now tonight I'm back at it with Halloween 3 Season of the Witch because I love Halloween movies and Halloween time and Halloween on YouTube. It would be The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, I guess that. I'll check it out after 59th. I love old computer tech rooms. Right? The just something about what the hell was that? Somebody just drove by in a monster truck. Um, Yeah, before technology became like it is now, with just little tablets and cell phones or whatever, the big clunky ideas of what they thought advanced tech was, and I mean back then that's what advanced tech was. It was all just big clunky boxes, and So here's the Silver Shamrock commercial with the blink in and everything, warning will cause seizures. What the fuck is going on? Excuse me, one second. Okay. All right, just checking, make sure the popo weren't here. So it sounded like a damn war was breaking out outside. Uh, the hurricane is whatever one is, Melissa, I think it is. It's 700 miles away from here, so we've been getting little rainstorms here and there, but had to make sure we weren't in the middle of a big destroyed. Sorry, it's hard to talk. This is the part where the mask is on and the bugs just destroy this little kid's head, and bugs and snakes, and Atkins has got that wild look. Oh dear Lord, where's my subtitles at? I've got to see him with to stop it. I did press select, bitch. Would you make me fight you? I'll straight up fight you. There they are. Thank you. Sorry, I got into a fight with my remote control and was losing. Screaming continues. Yeah, when the dude's trying to escape from the snakes and everything and they're trapped in. Yeah, Sean, you're right. This is the best kill. Every kill I see in this, is my new favorite kill from this movie. You know, this is the best one, obviously, because it's so just gruesome. You know, these people got their kids at this like trick or treat factory. Everything's supposed to be like happy. You know, and he puts on this mask and his head explodes or whatever the hell happens to it, and then bugs crawl out. Second is emoting his ass off. He's selling this. How didn't he at least get like a Golden Globe? At least a nom. A 15-minute standing ovation at Cannes. Something. The man deserves it. And they do a good job of keeping the rest of the Silver Shamrock factory in the dark, so it seems like it's way bigger than it is. And, you know, they're trying to pinch pennies here and there. They're taking over the world. They're going to need a little bit of a bankroll. What about the Beach with Leo? CWO, the Lord Judge, Danny Boyle recently messed up 20 years later. Yeah, I need to see 28 months later. I still have, or months, 28 years later. So there we see the Silver Shamrock mask just being pulled off the shelf. It's almost time, kids, for the Horathon. So we're going all around the world, New York and Omaha, Nebraska. This is going to be a whole nationwide thing. And I like it's just the same three masks. Like there's a little girl dressed up like a ballerina, but she's wearing the pumpkin mask. And there's a girl just wearing a regular shirt, but she's got the witch mask on. That's all she needs. And there's a kid with the pumpkin mask on, but he's also a pirate. Like, see, that's how the Shamrock sold this to everybody. They convinced you can still be whatever you want to be, just also be a pumpkin head, a witch, or a friggin' skeleton. I'd like to see a movie where they take E.T. out trick or treating and they put one of the Silver Shamrock masks on it. There's Phoenix, Arizona. They're coming over the hill at dusk, and it's these cool silhouettes. That's what the movie poster is. That's what the thumbnail for this video is. Kind of a classic scene. They pan down into the valley, and you can see all the lights. Oh, it's a tragedy. A tragedy, I tell you. Colonel Kaku, and we had time getting at Stonehenge. Oh, I imagine like customs and trying to like, get your shipping container with your Stonehenge pieces delivered and everything. Jen and GI had cool computer tech. I think he's the only robot at the end. From the moment he rescues her onward, she doesn't speak again or show emotion like the other bots. The other robots have no emotion at all, so shouldn't have. Yeah, from most of my life, I took it as that she gets snatched up at some point, and then they send the fake one to her to, lure him or whatever, manipulate him. But then, yeah, there are other people who say that it's, all the way through, and I can see, I guess, all the way through, but why? Why drag him into this? You know? Um, but it's like we were talking about Nightmare on Elm Street the other with the Freddy when we were watching Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, we were talking about the original Nightmare on Elm Street 1. Boy, that got complicated. And in that one, I have my theory that it's possible the whole film is a dream. Like there's no waking moments the entire movie because the thing starts with the little kids doing the jump rope stuff. So some of the arguments of when did this happen, how much of this is that, I enjoy a good horror movie with that. Like what the meaning of Inception is, I've discussed several times with people. The final scene with the little spinning totem. Sometimes a little ambiguity is good. Let's see where. Top Tens is totally a Silent Hill portal, right? It's very much Silent Hill. There's a Castle Rock is Silent Hill. Yeah, that's the thing. It's Silent. Hobbs End is supposed to be Castle Rock because it's so much like Stephen King, but uh, the story itself, they didn't want to make it all Stephen King, so they sprinkled in some Lovecraft stuff in there too. Brendan Fraser was great in the live action film George of the Jungle. I never saw George of the Jungle. Saw Encino Man though. Still haven't seen The Whale. Looks too depressing. Castle Rock Entertainment gives the name of the town Stephen King's Needful Things. Yeah, when I was watching Something Wicked This Way Comes, I completely forgot to talk about Needful Things and how much of it's almost the same type of story and how much those movies are connected and people who like Needful Things should check out Something Wicked This Way Comes. So thank you for bringing that back into my memory. I've been meaning to shout that movie out. Needful Things is fun, and many other King adaptations. True that. Uh, David Harbour, I could see that actually. That's a good call too. Um, just now on screen, there's Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Go ahead, throw him in there. That's. I feel like in that, and actors of that age, there's a handful. Wesley Snipes as Chalice would be cool. I'd see that. Is the mustache that gives Atkins the macho look? Yeah. Well, he also feels sort of like he's got dad bod. He feels like an everyman. That's what you're supposed to be for this. Like, if we got Jean Claude Van Damme and he's all oiled up and shit fighting these Silver Shamrock goons, it's not impressive. It looks ridiculous. But the fact that it just looks like somebody's dad, it's Tom Atkins. He's got a lovable look about him. Seems like the kind of guy you invite over to your cookout and he just stand around and talk about the Rams with you or whatever. So here they got Atkins all tied up to this chair looking like Lecter. And they have so many of these little like laboratory rooms just set aside, like, oh, we're doing all sorts of evil business here. We're on some druid stuff, bro. Next level spork stuff. You don't really know much about Halloween. And here's the whole thing where he keeps saying Sam Hain, but it's supposed to be pronounced Samhain. Put in the chat or the comments. Do you say Sam Hain or Samhain, or do you never say it because you have no reason to ever because you're not a crazy druid? Michael J. Fox challenge. Stop making the mask. I would be interested in that. Jim Gaffigan is Chalice. I would watch that. Actually, that's another good one. Steven Seagal is Dr. Chalice. Anyone? I would say no, but then again, I would like to see that movie at least once and be very angry at it. Um, Always bet on black, right? The Festival of Samhain. The last great one took place 300 years ago, and the rills ran red. This dude just chewing up the scenery. It's big performance, big performance. But this scene, though, there's another scene I was mentioning earlier. This transfer, it's a really good one. This lighting here, where they've got him, strapped to this chair. This is a really well shot scene. Not quite as good as Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper in True Romance, but it's right there. One absolute moments, Pastor 57. Road Warrior times going out there. This mask scene traumatized me as a kid, still does. Yeah, these bugs and everything. It's you. Then the Raiders Lost Ark, a large megaforce melt. Yeah, I would like to see a bunch of movies where everybody's faces melt. Oh, that song, I forgot to look. I want that RV. Tim Burton is a genius. I pray for a world like the Road Warrior. It's going to end. We'll have it that way. Right? Buyers go to Santa Mira and they get run around. Gift shop and factory are interesting. Why not have it that way? Yes, Demolition Man is coming around 23 too for when it takes place. The Blade films have such a great plan, visionary. So there they put the skeleton mask on Atkins, and he's forced to watch the countdown 11 minutes away. If Colonel Cochran was working with Mr. Slauson from Tourist Trap, that makes sense to me. I could see that actually. The reason I don't like this movie is because of this kill. The one with the little kid with the mask. Oh, it's brutal. After seeing this film, I refuse to wear a mask to cover my face. I figure to protect me from this thing ever happen. That's part of the reason I love it. Is it it makes those vinyl masks scary. Like as a kid, I grew up on the old what are they called? I can't think of the name of the Ben. What's his name? The one who did the old vinyl Halloween costumes. My friend, the horror cat dad's done a whole series of well, not a whole series, a handful of videos with the NECA action figure, the figures that they do with the Ben. Can't think of his last name, but the old vinyl Halloween costumes we would wear with the plastic rubber band that held the mask on and everything. So when they moved up to these big, heavy duty, thick masks, it's kind of funny. It's like, nope, that's cheating. So if you wear it, you might get your head turned into bugs. So there, Atkins scrolls his way over and kicks in the TV with both feet. God love him, doing action hero stuff. Silver Shamrock masks were the Labulabus of 1882. I think they were. A Halloween mask, that is LOL. Totally Travis, mom, no more. You can have that. It's too ugly. Mikey Riley 59 is kind of ish that got me too. Uh, should they hire Freddy? Robert Englund, maybe? How does that distinguish good movies? They create memories that stick with you and your friends. For sure, yeah. The old Howard Hawks thing. Three great scenes, no bad ones. If there's stuff in this that you remember and you can discuss with other people, and you know that's the bonding experience, especially in these cult classic kind of movies, the cult films. That so many people will be like, Halloween 3 sucks. Michael Myers is in it, and I saw it once and hated it. Then there'll be other people who are like, oh, this movie's wild. I saw it so many times as a kid. Me and my brother used to watch it, and I'd always put him in a headlock when it was on. Russell was 26 when this came out. Oh, I was a kid when this one came out, but yeah, I saw this in the theater. Michael Myers replied at Silver Shamrock, Colonel Coffin only laughed from, oh, not a good fit. Now, HR for sure. Michael Myers he's a bad interview. Needful thing and something wicked. Sure, then something broski. Yeah, I when I saw that, I meant to mention it during the stream, and then after it was done, I was like, I completely forgot to go into my needful things rant. I was too busy enjoying the HD transfer of something wicked. Make a Netflix documentary on Silver Shamrock and their cult. I would like to see that actually, a horror like fake mockumentary about Silver Shamrock and everything. I could see Pee Wee Herman playing the Silver Shamrock jam on the keyboard for sure. You have both VHS tapes. Nice. I want to be Pinhead and the Cube thing and summon him. That would work too. Paul Walter Hauser is a thinner adaptation. You might have something. Warwick Davis Leprechaun jamming out with Pee Wee Herman, the evil Shamrock guy in the commercial clips. So here they discover Atkins has escaped and he's loose. Once again, James Bond. I'm telling you, he's James Bond in this. I think they thank you all amazing ideas. I gotta make a short movie now, right? 59 Atkins has fire in his eyes. Pee Wee Herman first appeared in the dating game. I do remember that. I liked Atkins in the Fog. And early Pee Wee Herman was in some Cheech and Chong stuff too. Oh yeah, I liked Atkins in the Fog. Actually, Halloween 3 is a very good movie, but this one gets me upset and I will suffer depression. That's why I won't watch this movie. Yeah, there's movies that are like that. Like I think Requiem for a Dream is an amazing movie, but I never want to see it again in my life. I don't think. The movie about a projectile fired from the cinema. I want to see that's a slasher he avenges. Yeah, I'd heard about that. It kind of reminded me of what's it called? Peeping Tom, the old director with the killer camera movie. I try to avoid that whole Sam Hain thing, right? Anytime I'm supposed to say Sawin, Sam Hain, I find a way to back out of the conversation. Colonel Cochran tourist trap team up, yes. I always thought the girl from the robot was beginning kind of like the robot girl in Austin Powers. See, there you go. Like a fembot. Warwick Davis and Willow. And then at the fembots there, just later miles of the robots from Westworld. Oh, there you go. Westworld's another one we need to watch on here, though. I love that. The old Yul Brynner. I think Yul Brynner was like the first Michael Myers. Um, Don, you know what I call it. I do. Fembots. Werewolf, Pumpkinhead, Jason with the Durlap bag featuring one high hole, right? You should see The Last Manatee at Acres, a Spanish slasher that takes place in a movie theater and it's killer obsessed with eyeballs. Simple concept, but it's fun. Sounds simple, but sounds fun. So here I have to love that doctor has to explain when he's calling in what's going on. He's like, "No, I'm not drunk." It's like, "Are you sure?" Go to Lishman Resort, but expect the devil wears Prada on a discount roll. Uh, let's see here. I haven't seen the Devil Wears Prada. I've been saying that since it came out. Yeah, I saw it once and sort of half paid attention to it because I didn't think it'd be anything I liked, and it was half interesting. But I would maybe sit down and watch it again. We'll see. I have so much to watch. Halloween 3 is my second film of the favorite of the series. Yeah, I would say that's my favorite. Halloween, the original, is my favorite, and then this. And then after that, I don't know. I always get H2O and Resurrection confused. H2O is the good one, right? With LL Cool J, but Resurrection's the bad one with Busta Rhymes. Whatever. That's elsewhere. Back to casual, ball and mask only. H3 is my third favorite ranking the franchise. Would be pretty boring. Yeah, I don't even know. I barely even consider those new ones that were just out. The Danielle Harris ones are okay. They're an interesting idea, but then they end up something different. Um, yeah, I don't know. Michael Myers is the way his mask changes all the time and just all of it. I don't know. Michael Myers is a wild trip, bro. I would say yeah, probably 1 and 3 are my two favorites, and after that it's a free for all. Devil's a weird man. I love Weird Russell probably wind down to it looks like a Black Swan in some ways. Pee Wee Herman is in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, he's good in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They should hire little people to sell masks. Just in general just hire little people to do anything. I would be the world would be a better place. Go to a counter at a store and there's a little person behind the counter. Have you seen that weird film Freaked? The Alex Winter one? I love that one. And Freaks, the old school black and white one. Yes, we a rough day for me to watch our Requiem again. It's too powerful. Right? That's one like afterwards I needed a shower and a hug. Um Colonel Cochran's speech when he explains everything to Child said I was giving me a slight chill throughout my novel. Definitely one of the best moments for me. Yeah, like I said, not totally true romance, but damn near up there. Just two like good actors really committing alone in a room, just acting. It's pretty powerful. And here's where he figures out the little silver shamrock tags have some sort of microchip something or other. James Bong and Thunder Bong, his debut, a great gravity bong and filling electricity. I like this theory. I hope it gets made. It sounds way better than Ginger Dead Man. I like how open he is to disclose his plan. Yeah, that's James Bond stuff. Bad guys love to hear themselves explain how brilliant they are. Take my money, Stacy. Right? What was the honky tonk? He was a good wrestler in the 80s. The bad one with Busta Rhymes is a good way to remember it. That's how I always remember it. It's like there's two rappers in the Michael Myers movies. The LL Cool J one was good, and the Busta Rhymes one is bad. I think. Um, Whistler Rain Ferris. There you go, Honky Tonk Man. Halloween Resurrection, the Skadoodle Cut. I'm hunting down an old TV show called The Watcher with Sir Mix-a-Lot. It's a show about Las Vegas in the '90s where he controlled all the cameras. I vaguely remember that. Sir Mix-a-Lot was in it? Wow. Baby got cameras. So there's a whole room full of people in a giant semicircle doing their evil computer deeds, and Atkins ducks down and walks into the room and just starts pressing it buttons and shutting stuff off. He don't even know what he's doing. That was a cool power shot right there where they push in on Colonel Cochran, and it's like he's got that like, oh, you're gonna get it now, Tom Atkins. 3-word pitch, Bong, James Bong, right? It's, it's a elevator pitch right there. Wrestler Wayne Ferris wrestling name, the Honky Tonk Man. To bong or not to bong? He does not. He does great in RoboCop movie too. Someone's a good actor, Gavin and Dan Hurley. So it was his son that was in. No, he's in RoboCop. Yeah, yeah, okay. Um, yeah, that's what I always think of him. As soon as I see him on here, it's like the power of his voice. So there we see all those weird computer scientists have been murdered. And he's like, "Damn you, Tom Atkins, behave yourself." And I like how it's a big, like, industrial ass warehouse, but then somehow when they're up in the rafters, it's all wood. Are you sure you guys didn't just take like an old barn and convert this? There we see the big glowing Stonehenge rock. And then the big, the little semicircle, their little circle of computers gets the weird ring around it, lighting up power. See, this for a movie that didn't have a big budget, they do a lot with it. It's an adventure. We go all over the place. It ends up in this like crazy Samhain, Sam Hain druid devil thing, whatever, taking over Halloween. So insane. There he gets zapped, and now he's glowing blue. Yeah, that right there is pretty bad special effects. But the exploding monument isn't, and then all the masks, that's not either. That's pretty awesome. Yes, difficult material to find with Sarah Mix-a-Lot. Going to be a gold mine for sure. It's a Kaylin Wayne Newton of episodes. Names I wasn't expecting to hear on this stream. Atkins is trying to check if they have an Oregon Trail number of munchers that they're ready to boot up. But yeah, that's the way he's just poking away at the computer. That's what it looked like. Oh, everybody died of dysentery. Here's my ranking. Halloween's movie 13, Halloween ends 12, Halloween 11, Halloween kills 10, Halloween 3 season of the witch 9, Halloween the curse of my gosh. Um, I can't argue with it. Everybody's got their own favorites. Can't tell anybody else what they would like. So they pull away from the motel, and there you can clearly see the motel was a matte overlay where the factory was because now there's a fire. So yeah, that was a fake factory, not just a fake sign. Um, and then here's where he's leaving in the car and going through the radio thing. And she's not talking. I'm waiting for her to see if she looks robotic or not. She looked sort of robotic before in her own weird way. But yeah, she's definitely a robot here and was. I don't think she was before. Because she's even kind of acting a little different. I agree with, I think it was Travis who said that maybe, or maybe Nanette or whoever was pointing out that, yeah. Yeah, I love when she grabs his face while he's driving. So creepy and weird. She's just like in a whole other world. Let me see here. Get his Schlitz. He uses payphone. Hey, lady from the hospital. Hi, bar. There he slams into the tree. But he's totally fine. The door opens. Oh, we see the arm. Her robot arm's in there. Don't go over there, Atkins. You're gonna regret it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it, Atkins. Oh God, it's a severed arm. And then she grabs him in the Vulcan neck pinch. Stab her with the tire iron. Stab her with the tire iron. Bam! Right in the head. Oh man, and it's see. Normally this abuse would not be okay, but she's clearly a robot. She's got wire arms and she's drool and slime. Oh, that was a nice backhand. I like how their robot technology is very similar to the ones in Aliens. So, he definitely needs more beer once his wife accused him of being drunk on that phone from the factory, right? How much time left to get new movies to make? Yeah, I mean, that's part of the problem is new people come into the industry and they become the hot name, and then the names that aren't as popular anymore get pushed back, and then it gets harder and harder for them to get a job, whether it's director, actor, whatever. I mean, so there, the severed arm attacks him, and it's a real Michael Keaton or Michael Caine the Hand moment, real Evil Dead 2. Good acting though. Once again, Atkins just emoting his butt off. I have no rank other than the first five, but that is a good list. Thank you. That is a perfect way to sum that up, 59th. I know what his wife knows. Should mind her own business. What does she care if he's a doctor doing medicine? It's like not her call. She's on the medical board, right? Why is she such a drag? They're on the rocks anyways, I agree. Tom Atkins for president, right? I would vote for Tom Atkins, at least vice president. Just so with like the State of the Union behind the president, there's Tom Atkins just sitting there. The motel is now apartments for the addled. I could see that. He was the detective of the Frank Sinatra movie. I didn't know that. The isn't that isn't Die Hard a sequel to that, or is that what's the other one? Whatever. That was one of the Die Hard prequel in a way. Thank you. Look at me, always one step behind. Yeah, yeah, I do recall that. Medicine was a lot of nothing back then, right? You just I was telling Mrs. Night Owl is currently with child, and I was explaining to her during her last pregnancy that my mom went into false labor. The whatever they're called, whatever those people's names are. She went into the false labor and she called the doctor, and the doctor said, "You know what? It sounds to me like it's just the false labor. Have some scotch." Not the cheap stuff, just like two fingers of the good stuff. Sit down, take a deep breath, you'll be fine. It's like, now that's medicine. No wonder I turned out the way I did. All right, so now we're back at the gas station that isn't the gas station from Body Bags. And then he's trying to explain, like, look, damn it, Silver Shamrock is up to no good. Meanwhile, here's children with Silver Shamrock masks on trick or treating. No, I can't prove it. You gotta believe me. I'm Tom Atkins. Take those commercials off the air now. Eh, 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 eh. So now here's the transformative signal that's going to go out and cause the world to fall apart. But they're experiencing technical difficulties. Oh, this one's going to go through. This one's going to go through. I'm telling you. Stop it. Please stop it. You've got to stop it. Stop it now. Turn it off. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. What an awesome way to end a movie. Just this damn dude losing his mind, turning to the camera, screaming, begging for help in a world that's not going to help him. And there it is. The end. Just once again, we've talked about this with awesome horror movies. We don't want to be messing around with sorry, I was checking to see if what are you doing to me here, AMC Plus? We'll find out in a second. Uh with most horror movies, when they end, there's sometimes they dick around. Like after you kill the villain, they spend like another 5 minutes before the credits show up. No, when the monster's dead, the movie's over. When King Kong is dead, we go to credits. All right. So this is one where it just ends on the big and the credits come up. Time to leave the theater. None of this messing around. Um, can I ask you a question about a Christmas movie, Don? Yes, you may. Um, Tom Atkins in Escape from New York and My Bloody Valentine remake. I'm for Tom Atkins in anything. Remake Jaws. Have Tom Atkins be the shark. Atkins is Sandra Bullock father and everything going forward. How about Tom Atkins as Sandra Bullock and everything going forward? He falls in love with a cute guy. They both work at a coffee shop or whatever. You ever see Tarantulas, the Deadly Cargo from '70s? That was the first time I ever saw him in a movie. I didn't see Tarantulas. Atkins was a linebacker, I think. I could see that. Yes, that's a memorable one. He was Stacy. I didn't know that. Tom Atkins, I mean, Tarantula is the deadly cargo. I didn't know that. Give tribute to Julian Sands' character with spiders now. I can find arachnophobia due to the research. Ooh, scary. Yes, I want to see that again after the last matinee. I will. That's always been a memorable performance from Julian Sands to me. If spiders can fly, spin webs, we are all done. I agree, and I don't want that to happen ever. Flamethrower battalions and acres. Oh, and look at this. AMC did me a solid. Um, when Halloween 3 wrapped up, they gave me a list of movies at the bottom, and one of the ones they gave me was Creep Show. So I put it on for us while we are talking here to wrap it up. So it's going to be the thing where Tom Atkins plays the mean dad. Like I love him in this role. Yeah, because in every movie he's so awesome and likable, and here he's such a jerk. He's got like the sandy blonde hair. He looks like a melted Ken doll. So, anyways, we're not here to watch Creepshow. We were here to watch Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and we have done that. I appreciate all of you so much for joining me for doing that. We may have to watch Creepshow again sometime. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow afternoon or something. We'll see what's going on. I got to get the kids trick or treating stuff all taken care of tomorrow, so Friday we can go, and then I can see a bunch of people turn into silver shamrock monsters. Atkins will mess you up over the middle. Damn right he will. Um, But I thank you for joining me, my friends, for this movie that I feel is like an underrated cult classic. Most of the folks here really appreciated it. They get it. That's what I like, is you guys get it. And thank you for being here and our uh, build up to Halloween coming up day after tomorrow. So, well, actually, technically tomorrow now, since we're in the middle of the night. It's 3:17 in the morning here, and that's a perfect time for me to wrap it up and go to sleep. So. My friend, melted Kendall. Yeah, I know, right? Enjoy the stream. Take care. Happy Sephi, all silver shamrock. Kind Creep Show. We'll watch that one too, right? Have you heard about Ty West doing a Christmas Carol and Johnny Depp is playing Scrooge now? What do you think of that? I did not know that, and I think that's crazy, but I would check it out because it's crazy. Terrific program. Thank you, my friends. I love you all so much, and thank you for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for joining me on these late night things. You keep me company here. I appreciate it a lot, and I appreciate those of you who hang out and participate in the chat or listen to the show later on your favorite podcast provider or here on YouTube at Night Owl Movie Talk. Thank you, and I wish all of you a happy and safe Halloween, and most of all, I wish you green grass and high tides forever.